Alright everyone, hello. It's been 10 months since our last update. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of the yard. It's going to take a little less than 10 minutes. And yeah, checking on some of the changes that we made since the last video. It is currently mid-August 2024. So let's get started. We're going to do a brief overview of things rather than an in-depth series because there's so much to look at. But the first thing you'll notice is that everywhere last year where there was no soil, there's now soil. So we brought in a big truck yard of soil. Starting over here, this was all rocks before, if you remember from the previous video. Now it's the perennial garden. So everything growing in here will naturally come up every year. Started with some wild strawberries, we got asparagus, garlic, dill. The raspberry plants that I pointed out in the first video, they're starting to come along. We've had some raspberries there, sunflower, and a number of other things. And then we have our little scrub area. This is a little feature that I kept. There was a lot of rock in here and I kind of kept some and decided to grow some succulents. So I'm kind of excited about these and see if they'll overwinter. We got some different varieties and one started to flower this year. So that's pretty cool. At the back of the yard, this is kind of an experiment this year. We got some native wildflowers, we got some tomatoes and sunflowers. Still not sure what to do there. You can see we also got some proper bird feeders set up, so we're starting to grow that yard list. And in the back alley, never showed this in the first video, but this was a pretty awful sight of weeds. We got some squash growing, sunflowers, raspberries, and then I have a number of Saskatoon bushes that I actually got from the Cypress Hills this year. They came as just little seedlings, but there was a pack of 10 or so. So I got them interspersed here, and we'll see if they come up, or yeah, overwinter, and maybe we'll have some Saskatoons back here. So the back alley is kind of just some random things, create a buffer for the weeds, and yeah, some food for the wildlife, which is kind of the main thing we're trying to do, is attract wildlife into the yard and also get some good food for growing, for eating. We have this Japanese maple. I really pruned this down at the start of the summer into like a tight bulb, and it has exploded. So that's kind of cool. We got a high bush. What is this? This is a beaked hazelnut. It's a long story and we'll get to that sometime. We also got some living features. We have a nice new gazebo, so we got some shade in the yard, which is nice. And I bought a grape plant, and it started at about this height when I planted it, maybe a little less. And it's starting to climb up the trellis. So in future videos and future years, it'll be really interesting to see kind of how far that goes. And then I've collected a lot of stuff from the back alleys, just like random stumps. Got a little birdhouse on top, cute little feature. But you'll probably notice the garden. This was a horrific looking in the first video, just a pile of compost basically. I got a really nice garden this year. We're kind of towards the end of harvesting, so it's a little less flashy than it once was, but we got corn, onions, carrots, tomatoes, beans, peas. We got a little native wildflower patch here. You can see the evening primrose starting to close for the morning, because they bloom at night, of course. We got prairie coneflower, all native plants, flowers there. Nice big sunflowers. One thing pretty cool that I noticed is we had these cucumbers that were starting to climb the sunflowers. And you can see there's a cucumber here. And I've already harvested 2 cucumbers that were just like dangling from the sunflower, which was pretty cool. So yeah, cucumbers, beets, onions. We got lots of eggplant, spicy peppers. Over here we got nasturtiums, which attracted the first hummingbird, so that was cool. Got a native pollinator mix that Nicole got from work. Actually, sorry, this is not native. This is a kind of a cover crop pollinator mix. So there's a mixture of plants in here that will bloom all throughout the year from spring to late fall, which is kind of cool. And there is a ton of pollinators that this has attracted. Started to take some photos the other day, and maybe I'll post a collage somewhere. Got some pumpkins, watermelon, kind of started late, I don't think that'll work out. Lots of zucchini, harvested about 10 of them. And probably, I counted about 5 more. Oh, got some geese overhead. Canada goose. That's cool. Nice little flyover. Fall is on the way. We got our wood pile back here. 2 composters. Probably this is the only long-term composter that we'll keep. Actually, this one's full of seaweed. It's kind of buried now, but seaweed from Pike Lake. So they do the weed harvesting there, and I secured some seaweed. And then we got some wood. Nice stained cedar wood from the neighbors, and we'll create some projects with that later this fall. But yeah, that's about it for the backyard. But as you can see, it's starting to look kind of nice. It's livable. We got a lot of food from the garden. We did lots of pickling of kind of everything. I made 3 batches of borscht last night with all the beets. You see the ivory climbing the shed. So yeah, pretty cool. Down the side of the house, this was also nothing. So we got these hostas from the neighbors for free, so they're good shade plants. May as well plant them until we have something native to take it over. But we do have some native plants. This is the Canada Violet, which started a little smaller than that, and you can see it's really taken off, flowered. So this is cool. I'm hoping that spreads. Same with the northern bedstraw, also a native shade plant. And I see, for the first time, just pick that weed, it's got flowers. So that's cool. We have native, local native shade plants back here, and they seem to be doing all right. Another northern bedstraw and another violet. So hopefully those spread and flower, and yeah, that's great. In the front, we'll also notice some changes. By the way, here's more wood from the neighbor's house, the stained cedar. They sold their pool and took apart their deck and kind of gave it all to me. He was going to take it all to the dump. There's probably like $1,000 of cedar wood. So I'm going to build something pretty cool with it, I think. Let's see. We got a nice little Ducks Unlimited chair that I picked up at a garage sale. But now this spring, this was all grass, and you can see it's mostly still all grass. But I've left some patches of yarrow that have naturally come up. So we have like a white yarrow here, and the flowering's mostly done, so they're not looking as pretty, but it's still okay. And a pink yarrow. Started to kill some of the weeds that were creeping over from the neighbor's lawn, so I'm just solarizing them here. This carport is temporary, and then I'll replant with something native, not grass, probably next year. But you can see they got some creeping bellflower, which is highly invasive. It looks nice, so people actually grow it, which is absurd, but it's literally taking over the entire lawn, and it's like coming up in every, crack that it possibly can. So I really got to stop that. For flowers, stuff from Fillmore here. So we had hollyhocks, poppies, dill. We did plant some native grasses towards the end. This is all an experiment, and it got completely destroyed by the wind. We got some sagebrush, prairie sage and pasture sage. Again, trying to mix in some native species where we can. But this will probably completely change next year. This was just a placeholder, and worked out okay, but not great. One of the things I'm most excited about is this little nature area, or kind of scrub wildlife area. So I kind of let the grass grow here. And when the neighbor was trimming some of their trees, I told them just to let the tree fall. And I got a nice big tree branch, which kind of formed the shape of this area. I also planted some native species. So we have red osier dogwood. Again, we've got some stumps from the back alley that I picked up. And high bush cranberry. So that's pretty cool. We have a single cranberry. Also cool. That beaked hazelnut that I showed you in the back, that will be the 3rd shrub to complete this 3 shrub series. All native, all locally sourced. And the beaked hazelnut I actually dug up myself at one of Nicole's properties, kind of up north, further into the Aspen parkland. I also planted a native paper birch or white birch tree, and this attracted a house finch, and that was like the first ever one that we had in the yard, and it took like 2 days for the house finch to land on the top. This one was hit early with the birch minor. It's like a larva that you know attacks your birch. So I did some pruning and I seem to have got it under control. Hasn't shown signs of infection for a couple months now. Planted this near the start of the summer. I also mounted this post. This is a replacement of one of the fence posts in the back. Put a birdhouse on top. We had our first nesting birds. Hummingbird feeder. It's attract hornets so far, nothing else. And then I got a nice little nature certification for the yard, which is a great way to finish the year. Yeah, we got lots more projects on the way. A lot more things planned. But for the first 8 months, I think we did pretty good. So that's it for today's video. I might do another one later this fall. I'm gonna do some projects in the back, which you might find interesting. Otherwise, we'll do another recap next spring once I have maybe things growing and some targeted videos on, you know, the wildlife, maybe another video on the gardens, on the flowers, trees and shrubs, and we'll talk about things more specifically in the future. But that's the update. Thank you. Bye-bye.